Hello, so we're back to our sequence about musicals, and today I'm going to correct the work that you had to do about the written comprehension and the text that I gave you. So, the text. So the text is an extract or maybe the entire article about a blog. And this article aims to convince people to go and see musical, and it especially targets people who haven't seen any musicals in their life. That's what shows the question, have you ever seen a musical? And this idea of first tickets. So the article wants to convince people to buy their first tickets and to convince them that maybe musicals are better than films at home or films at the cinema. So that's why the article or the blog article is organized into 4 paragraphs, and in each paragraph they develop one reason to motivate people to buy their first tickets. So, the first paragraph is entitled They Teach History. And so, in this paragraph, the writer wants to explain that by watching a musical, you can learn things about history. And it's a funny way and an entertaining way to learn history, contrary to a very serious maybe lesson at school, or maybe contrary to reading a book. So what can be historical? So that's what I underlined in yellow. What can be historical is the events, okay, the action, what happened in a specific period of time. The characters, or the synonym is figures. So a musical can be about and can center around a famous person like Napoleon or a president, for example. And the third reason is this idea that the musical is close to the reality, closely true to the facts or original story. So it is close to the what happened in history at this precise moment. So now the second paragraph: musicals tackle social and political issues. So I ask you to find synonyms of be about, deal with, when you want to introduce a subject, when you want to introduce the topic of an article. So here you've got tackle plus the complement, here again, and you've got also take on, and here be careful with the preposition. So the paragraph is about how musicals are about social and political issues, but they talk about these issues in a different way than books can talk about this, than politicians can talk about this. So the 4 adjectives are the green, the adjectives that I circled in green. So light-hearted way. It means it is the contrary of serious or formal. It's the issues are dealt in a way that it's not too heavy or too serious. Then you've got the adjective controversial, but here in the negative, it means that musicals are about political and social issues, but they don't create controversy, they don't create debate, and the goal of a musical is not to be provocative. And the other adjective is biased, here in green. Biased means being subjective, being partial, to side with a group. And here, so the musical is not too biased. It means that it is about political issues, but it doesn't take side, and it is not politically involved in defending a specific opinion. Then you've got the words insensitive, so it means that musicals are not insensitive. It means that they are showing understanding, they are showing compassion to these people who might suffer from political injustice or social injustice, and they show compassion and empathy for these people. So if we sum up this paragraph, it means that musicals deal with social and political issues, but in a joyful way, in a compassionate way, and rather in an objective way. So next, next paragraph. Live musicals remind people of how it used to be. So here, with the expression "it used to be," it refers to how musical portray the past and how people react to this representation of their past. So the past which is represented in a musical is, as it is said, so it's in green. It's easier to deal with. There were fewer social injustice. Things were great. It was easier to deal with again. So here you can see the use of the comparative, easier, fewer. So we have seen few to indicate a quantity. So it means that for them, past was in a way better and nicer than the present, and the musical represent this past in this nicer way, and maybe not in the reality that they experienced. So we can say that the people who go to these musicals are a bit nostalgic. Nostalgic is this feeling of being both at the same time both happy and sad when you think about things that happened in the past. It's this idea of wanting to go back in the past because the past for them in their mind is nicer, better, greater and softer than the present. So here's that was the answer for the third paragraph. Now the fourth paragraph. The fourth paragraph explains how a musical can engross. So this is the verb, can engross the audience in the story. So engross is quite strong, and it's a synonym of captivate, of fascinating someone, of enchanting someone. So it's like when you talk about enchanting, it refers also to this idea of casting a spell, like a witch, of hypnotizing. So it's this idea that musical are really captivating the audience. So captivating, captivate, the verb is a synonym of engross. You've got also the verb immerse, which creates this idea that the audience is plunged and is really plunged directly in the story and in the musical. You've got engrossed again, and here you've got an expression, grab your attention, when you draw your attention, but grab is even stronger than draw your attention. That it means that you can't detach yourself from it. And then you've got a very nice expression and quite funny and visual expression, which is keep you on the edge of your seat. The edge is the corner, okay, so as if you were falling from your seat. And so why are musicals so engrossing and so immersing? You've got here in red a list of the different reasons. So the costume, the songs, the dialogue, the music, the sets, the choreography, lighting and cast. And it's all the elements which constitutes and which define a musical, and especially a live musical, because you are experiencing the musical and not just watching it. So this is it for the analysis of the text of the blog. So I want you to glue this text in your copybook in the part lesson, and I want you to use all the different colors that I used. You can use different colors if you want, but I want you to underline what I underline exactly from the title to the end, and to create at the end a caption where you say yellow refers to blah blah blah, and red refers to etc., so that you can understand what words correspond to what question. So now the lesson. So here is the lesson that you have to copy on your lesson, on your part lesson of your copybook, just under the text that we worked on. So it's a summary of what we said. So we have the usual colors, the codes that we're using. So yellow highlighting for new words, red for verbs, boxing for link words. Right, so I'm going to read it and comment it. People are keen on seeing Broadway musicals for different reasons. So being keen on is the same as to love. I'm sure you have seen it before. And be careful, keen on seeing, so you need the ing. When it's the same when you say I love playing tennis, you need to add a ing to the verb after love, and here it's the same because it's a synonym of love. First, musicals are both entertaining and enlightening since they often deal with, tackle or take on historical, social and political topics, issues. So you can recognize here the adverb that we used before and that we have seen. So both, which express a common point between only two elements and not three. And here this idea of entertaining, so to have fun, and this idea of enlightening, which refers to teaching history, to learning something. Be careful, entertaining, enlightening. Since to express a cause, a synonym of because or as, then you've got three synonyms of to be about or deal with, to introduce a subject. Issues, topics, synonyms of subject. Then you've got a link word, which is a chronological link word. You've got three chronological link words in this lesson. First, then, and finally, to organize your ideas. Then many people feel nostalgic, and musicals make them remember a time when life seemed nicer than today. So the word nostalgic, maybe we can add it in yellow. Nostalgic, as we said, to be sad or unhappy at the same time about the past. Make them remember, or make somebody, so this idea of force them to remember, but here you don't have to, you just have the verbal base, remember. A time when life seemed, so the ed of the simple past, because we're talking about the past. Nicer than today, er for the comparative, than to introduce the comparison between past and today, present. Finally, to conclude your ideas. Finally, the story is gripping, immersing, and everything in the show is made to keep you captivated on the edge of your seat. So what is in yellow is the four synonyms of captivating, or three synonyms of captivating. Gripping, immersing, being plunged, so here they are used as adjective. Made to keep you captivated on the edge of your seat. So this is the lesson. So now you need to take your mind map that we did at the beginning of this sequence. So here are the new words you had to add. Choreography here. Then the four words that we saw in the article to define that it's a comedy and not a serious political speech. Here, other elements about the stage. And here, the reaction of the audience when they are immersed or captivated. And finally, here, the cast. The cast is a group of actors. So this is it for today. Remember, you've got to highlight your text, to copy your lesson, to learn your lesson, to complete your mind map, and to learn the new words of the mind map and relearn